Okay, Hare Krishna, Mataji, welcome. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, Mataji, is it okay? Viewable? Visible, right? Okay. So I have started the recording. Okay, so today we have so many slokas, so we have to go fast. So Mataji, if you are not able to recite the sloka, it's fine. I mean the Sanskrit slokas. You can just read the sloka, or you can just read the translation. No problem, whichever you are comfortable with. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, so today I have I am showing you the Utsav Murtis of our Jagannath Mandir. These are our festival deities, Radha, Shri Radha, Gokulananda. So they come out during festivals. Okay, this is Panchatattva. The middle is the personality in the middle is Mahaprabhu. Okay, the blue is Nityananda Prabhu. So one time I'm planning to have a class to introduce who are all these 5 personalities. Okay. So we have Prema Mataji to lead us. Okay, we would like to pay obeisance to our dearest His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, so we have. Can we have mini kirtan by Prema Mataji? Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Okay, let me increase the volume. Okay, Mataji, you can proceed.
Okay, Mataji. Om Janana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Oops. Sorry, Mataji is not moving.
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine
Nama Om Vishnupadaya
Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschadya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Bibo. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice
Hare Krishna.
Kirtan.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to understanding of Gita introduction as usual. The subject of the Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of 5 basic truths. I hope you all remember what are the 5 topics. Okay. All right. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entities Jiva is explained. Okay, there is Ishvara. Okay, there is Ishvara, there is Jiva, there is Prakriti, there is time, Kala, and then Karma. These are the 5 topics. So why? Let's say, suddenly somebody comes to you and asks, what is this Bhagavad Gita? Everybody knows this is Song of God. Who speaks and who listens? Okay, everybody knows. Krishna speaks, Arjuna hears, he's the audience. Okay, the benefit is particularly Arjuna, but generally is the mankind. So what is this Bhagavad Gita is basically about? So sometimes you won't know where to start. So if you know these 5 principles in your 5 finger, the tips of your 5 fingers, then you can start talking about Bhagavad Gita. So what are these 5? There is Ishvara, which means the controller. So when we talk about Ishvara, we know throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has established his Krishna speaks about his nature, his origin. I mean, he's without origin, he's unborn, but he talks about his nature, his activities, what he is. Okay, everything about him. Then you can go on talking about Krishna because we heard from him. And then there is Jiva. Jiva, you can pick something from the chapter 2 and you can talk about it. There are Jivas, the living entities which are controlled. Ishvara is the controller. Jivas is the control. If a living entity says that he is not controlled, but that he is free, then he is insane. Nobody is free from control. Okay, the living being is controlled in every respect, at least in this conditioned life. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter deals with the Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the Jivas, the controlled living entities. Okay, so that's Ishvara and Jiva. And then you can go on talk about Prakriti, the material nature. Okay, material nature and time, the duration of existence of the whole universe or the manifestation of material nature. And karma, of course, we saw so many things spoken about karma in the previous chapters. Okay, activity are also discussed. Okay, so it's for everybody. Everybody can hear this knowledge. Okay. The cosmic manifestation is full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what God is. So this is the aim. Okay, what is our objective? Vision, objective. At the end of the class, okay, do we know this information? Then the purpose of the learning is achieved. So we want to know what God is, what the living entities are, what Prakriti is, what the cosmic manifestation is, how it is controlled by time, and what the activities of the living entities are. So this is the summum bonum topics in Bhagavad Gita. Very high level topics of Bhagavad Gita. These 5 things, whichever subject, whichever verse you take, you can put them in any of these 5. Okay, it won't run much. Okay, so yes, next. Okay, so we have done this revision. This is a revision sloka. It's the last verse from 6.47. Pushpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yoginam api sarvesam matgate nantar atmana sradhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, from chapter 1 to chapter 6, and then we have 3 sections. If you remember this term I used in level 1, Bhagavad Gita is like a sandwich. You have a bread on top and then bread at the below, at the bottom, and inside you have the filling, okay, the main meal inside there. So chapter 1 to chapter 6 is all about actions. Okay, it's about not expecting results, surrendering results to Krishna, and then we had dhyana, and then finally Krishna concluded bhakti is on top of the yoga ladder in 6.47. Okay, he says the highest of all. From 7 to 12, Krishna's he's going to dive into bhakti yoga. Okay, he's going to expand on this verse for the next 6 chapters. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, finally, the closure is jnana yoga. Okay, that part is a little technical, but it's important. All right. So Krishna is making a declaration here in the end of chapter 6. Yogina api sarvesham. Of all the yogis. So there are three symptoms of the best of the yogis Krishna is describing here. Okay. One is having faith, always abides in me. Next is thinking of me. And this person often offered transcendental loving service to me. Therefore, he is the highest of all. Okay, now I'm going to take out this information and put it here for you. Great faith. Okay. Next is abiding in me, thinking of me, render service. By doing this, he becomes the greatest of all yogis. Of these 4 criteria, we're going to focus on this, thinking of me. So how exactly this is done? Krishna explains how to remember him. Because this is the essence of purification. This is very important. Okay, thinking of me, how to think, remember. How to remember? That is the chapter 7 is about. Okay, because this is the essence of purification. So we will learn how to think of Krishna, how to remember him. Okay, after all, the ultimate motive of us acquiring or setting our path on spiritual realization, self-realization, is to always remember Krishna and not to forget him. So we want to know how to remember him. Like I have introduced a celebrity to you. Okay, this is a celebrity, he's good in this, good in that. But how to remember him? Let's get to know him more. So that brings us to chapter 7. Chapter 7 in Sanskrit is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means knowledge in practice. How to put that knowledge in practice? So one overview for you all. You can see how many slokas we covered in level 1 and how many slokas we're going to cover in level 2. So I have to run through all those revision slokas. I hope you all remember. Okay, have refreshed. Okay, now I think I need to tell you from 7.1 to 7.3, the first section is about knowing Krishna through hearing. Sravanam, remember that is the first step. Okay, next 7.4 to 7.12. Although we might not cover all the slokas, but generally this is the sections overview. It's about knowing Krishna's material and spiritual energies. Next, this one sloka, 7.14, Krishna will tell how to overcome the modes. Okay, the 3 modes, yeah, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Next is 15 to 19. Here, Krishna talks about 4 kinds of pious people, 4 kinds of impious people, and he talks about a jnani, who is best among all, but to be born as a jnani is very rare. Okay, out of this, if you remember, I think you remember who are these pious people and impious people. Okay, next, how to overcome the moods. Again, okay. Next, hold on, maybe it's not accurate. 7.20. Okay, the 7.20 to 7.25 is surrender to demigods and impersonalism. Okay, that is the section about. Finally is knowing Krishna. How? By knowing Krishna, it frees one from bewilderment. Bewilderment means, we are bewildered by the forces of Maya, distraction, placing us in duality, sadness, happiness. We are trapped in this. Okay, this is bewilderment. We undergo bewilderment because of these dualities. So Krishna will say how to transcend this. Okay, and by being conscious of Krishna in this life, in devotional service, how one can know him even at the time of death. Okay, and then the chapter 8 goes to how to attain the supreme. So like that it links. Okay, 7.1. This is about how to know about Lord Krishna. Now Krishna is going to start talking about him. Okay, Saras Mataji. Mataji, okay, Saras Mataji is not here. Okay, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yata Nyasya Sitachrunu. Okay, remember this word, Tachrunu. Here, now here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now here, O son of Pratha. How? By practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Okay, chapter 6, verse 6.47 explain that a yogi always thinks of me. You remember, that abides in me. Okay, so Krishna says a yogi who always thinks of me in devotion is the best. Okay, Madhate Antaratmana, he used this word. Now, 7.1 explains how to do so. How to know Krishna in full. So here he's giving 4 ways of doing it. Now here is number 1. Number 2, practicing yoga. Okay, practicing bhakti yoga. And then with mind attached to me. And with full consciousness of me. Okay, here practice the yoga in full consciousness of me with mind attached to me. So Krishna has given 4 ways how to know about Krishna. Okay, so we can learn about Krishna by hearing from him or about him from his devotees, not by any other means. And that means from authorized sources. Okay, if you want to buy a product, you have to go to the manufacturer, you have to get his brochure. Okay, so he can represent the product that he is selling in full. Okay, so moving forward, Krishna is going to give various information about him. Phenomenal, jnana, material knowledge, numinous, he will say numinous, vijnana, spiritual knowledge, all this is going to come here in this chapter. All right, now moving on. Yeah, so it starts with hearing. Like everybody, we start by hearing. We have to hear. All right. Okay, this sloka is not exactly in your level 2, but I am providing you. Why? Because here Krishna says, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Why this sloka is very important? I like this sloka very much because if you see in other scriptures, there are many times or many places where the scripture will mention that this is sufficient for you to know, although there are many more things for you to know. It is mentioned that way. But in Bhagavad Gita, you will find Krishna himself is saying, nothing further shall remain for you to know. I'm going to give you everything that you require. Okay. 7.3. Okay, I think one Mataji is not able to come. Now, this is about how rare is a person who knows about Lord Krishna. Okay, so before that, I would like to state a point here. Here, Krishna, in the past, Arjuna was asking him questions. Krishna is prompted by Arjuna's questions. It was like a Q&A. Arjuna's question, then Krishna gives, and then Arjuna wants to clear more doubts, and Krishna gives. But here, Krishna is saying, I will give you more. I will explain on this 6.47, yeah? Okay, never mind. Here, okay, here he has mentioned this. And without Arjuna prompting him, Krishna is going to explain to him, more about him. Okay, so that's how it starts, this chapter. Okay, 7.3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kashin mam vetti tatvatah. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. What does it mean? So this actually indicating how many people is asking how many people actually know Krishna. Krishna says out of thousands of people, one endeavor, and among thousands, only one knows him. So just see how difficult it is to know Krishna. To come to the path of knowledge is one thing, but from there to truly understand Krishna is another thing. Why? Because so many kind of people can take up the knowledge part, the spiritual part. Like people wants to perform sakama karma. You know, they want to perform activity detached from the result. They don't want bondage, but they will do it without the knowledge of the Supreme. Okay. And there is Jnana Yogis similar. Okay. And there is Dhyana Yogis. Okay. They want to attain so many other things, but not exactly that they want Krishna. And then there is Bhakti Yogi. So how can we know Krishna? Only by rendering service, and that is Krishna consciousness. Okay, so it's two different things. Out of many thousand, one may endeavor, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Okay, so we move on to know about Krishna more. Okay, 7.4, Tamarai Mataji. Okay, so before Mataji recite the sloka, I just explained this. So now Krishna is going to talk about different energies of him. So he's starting with material energy. So you can see here, earth, water, fire, air, ether, or sometimes it is said sky. Okay, so we go to the sloka now. Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 7.4. Bhumi apo nalo vayuhu Kamano bhukti evacha ahankaram iti yame bimna pakriti astatra. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated material energies.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So here Krishna is listing out his material energies. Okay, out of this, there is gross and there is subtle. So the one that I highlighted in red are gross, something that you can see. Earth, you can see water, fire, air, ether. And then there is subtle energies of Krishna, subtle material energies of Krishna. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. So Krishna is saying, these are my separated material energies. So if you remember from our 6 categories of avatar, Krishna, one of the categories is Purusha avatar. Okay, Remember the Karanantakasai Vishnu, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, Shirodakasai Vishnu. So Krishna invests his material energies through these three Purusha avatars, and that's how he created the world and he maintains the world. Okay? Yeah, so never mind, I will not go detail into that. So basically, there are three energies of the Lord. Sky. We need sky, no? That's our oxygen, Mataji. Yeah. So I think that's how I can explain that. Ether. Okay. So I move on because next Krishna is going to talk about another energy. 7.5. 7.5. Wayi Mataji.
Hi, Kasthuri
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all Matajis. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, 7.5. Aparayam itasvanyanam prakritim vidimi param jivabhutam mahabaho yeyedam daryate jagat. Besides these, Almighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are expliciting the resources of this material, inferior nature.
All right. Thank you much. Okay. So before I move on, so here this material energy there's another name. It is also called inferior energy. Okay, it is called inferior energy. Material energy, inferior energy. So now opposite to that, there is a spiritual energy. Okay, so that is superior energy of Lord Krishna. Inferior, superior. Material, spiritual. Now, so that's why Krishna is saying there is another superior energy of mind. And what does that consist? It consists of living beings, us, living entities, because we are manipulating, we are exploiting that inferior nature. We are using the material nature, isn't it, for our use. So that's how he's saying. There is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entity. We are also his energy who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Okay, and we are also called the marginal energy because we are in between. We are above the material energy. We are below than superior energy. So if we have good realization, we transcend, we have chances to go to spiritual energy. Otherwise, we are going to remain here. Okay, so we are in between. But you know what? This is a very big topic. Okay, so don't worry about it if you don't remember or what. So you just remember Krishna is explaining that he has this material energy, 5 gross and 3 subtle. And he is also saying that we are also comprised of his superior energy who are exploiting this material or inferior nature. Okay, because we have independence. Okay, we can choose where we want to go. Okay, that's our speciality. All right. Okay. Next is Krishna is answering who is the basis for spiritual and material world. So earlier he was talking about energy. Now he's talking about the world. 7.6, Amita Mataji.
Ekat yonini bhutani sarvaniti upadaraya aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution.
Okay, thank you, Amita Mataji. All created beings have their source in these two natures. What is it? Material and spiritual. And Krishna saying, I am both the origin and the dissolution. Means he is the creator and he is also the destroyer. That is what he's saying. It begins with him, it ends with him. the basis for spiritual and material world. So why, if you can notice, okay, these are the ways Krishna is telling us how to remember him. When you see, for example, if you see land, you think of Krishna. If you see water, you can think of Krishna. If you see fire, you can think of Krishna. Okay, so like that, these are his energy. So which means if you see everything around you this way, you will remember him in and out. Everywhere you go, you will see Krishna. Oh, here Krishna is here, Krishna is there. So like that, you will always remember him. That is what he's telling here. Krishna is telling here. Okay, Supreme Lord is superior to both material energy and marginal energy. Okay, so he is the origin of both spiritual and material energies. So Krishna will explain this point in using a simile, right? Simile in 7.7 is like an analogy or an example. Okay, let's put it an example. Here he will explain how he actually maintains. Okay, how do we perceive Krishna as the maintainer? All right, we don't see him, right? Okay, now we see how we can think of Krishna even though we don't see him. 7.7, Ajita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 7.7. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, carry on.
Mata parataram
Nanyat
nyat kinsit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so in 7.6, remember, I'm the origin and the dissolution, creator, destroyer. But here he's also saying, I'm also the maintainer. But no one can see him, just like the string hidden in a pearl necklace. But because of the string, the pearls are held in place. So how we can perceive him? How can we know him? Through Shravanam. We can only know him through hearing from him or hearing about him from authorized sources. Okay, so if we accept Krishna's point, that assertion that everything material and spiritual come from him, then we are able to see him everywhere. You can see him as a creator, you can see him as a destroyer, you can see him as a material energy or spiritual energy. You can remember him as the maintainer, something that you, even though you can't see. Okay, so like pearl necklace, you can see only the pearl, the shape. Okay, you can only see the pearls, but you can't see the string. But because of because of the string, the necklace is there. So everything is everything is there because of Krishna. So we can only, every time you put on your pearl, then you can remember him. Okay, yeah. So there is another, I would like to support this sloka with another additional 2 slokas from Brahma Samhita. Okay, so in this way, I'm introducing you some slokas from other scriptures as well, even though it's originally not in your level 2. Okay, so here, in Brahma Samhita is a prayer for Govinda. It's a very old literature and nobody actually can say when it was spoken. But it is understood that these verses were written by Lord Brahma or spoken by Lord Brahma, and it was documented. But when Lord Chaitanya discovered this scripture, it was left with very few. He was traveling in South India and he come across this scripture, and he picked up this book and he given to the devotees. So it's very authorized book, an authorized prayer by a supreme being. Okay, Lord Brahma is a very supreme being. So in this book, I forgot how many slokas in total was actually saved. So there are lots of description about about Krishna. It's very vividly given about his place, his activities, his form. Everything is there. It's nicely given. So the first sloka is this: Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Remember the word origin that we saw in the 2 verses ago? So here this is supported. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. So it shows the characteristic of his body. It's eternal. He is eternal. He's got a blissful and he's got a spiritual body. Actually, this is the same quality that our soul also has. We are eternal, we are originally blissful, and we are spiritual. Actually, it's full of knowledge. And he is the origin of all. He's the origin of all. Okay, note this term, yeah. He has no other origin. And he is the prime cause of all causes. Okay. Sarva Karana. That's where you see one of the Purusha avatar. He's lying in the Karana ocean. Causal ocean. Everything comes from him. Remember the universe is coming out from his paws. If you remember our class a few days back. Yeah. So it's all related. It's all interrelated. And then I bring you to the sloka number 39. Chintamani prakarasatma sukalpa vriksha Lakshavrateshu shurabhirabhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra shata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham. Adi means primeval. Tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. So these are the terms of indicating that he's the originator, he's got no other origin, he's the cause of all causes, he's really old. Okay, Puranam. The first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems. This is talking about his abode. Surrounded by millions of purpose trees. Actually, it's a wish-fulfilling tree, right? Chintamani is the jewel, okay? Always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. So Krishna is very rich. He's got so many servants, like thousands of Lakshmis. Okay, we are praying for one Lakshmi, but he's being served by thousands of Lakshmis. All right, so this is just to support the sloka where Krishna says he's the origin and dissolution. He's the origin and the dissolution. Okay, a source of origin and dissolution. Okay, now we move on to this few slokas where Krishna tells us how to see him in so many ways. Okay, 7.8 to 7.11. So in 7.8, Krishna will say, "Oh, son of Kunti, I am the taste of water." Which means what? When you drink water, you think, this is Krishna's taste. Like that. The light of the sun. So when you see the light, oh, this is Krishna. And when the moon, and then when you say, oh, so beautiful, like Krishna. This is how you think. This is how Krishna is teaching us. The syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, when you say Om, then that is Krishna. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. So any ability, any good ability, that is Krishna. That's why Krishna is saying. Then text 9. We stop here, right? Okay, text 9. I am the original fragrance of the earth. So when you smell nice fragrance from the earth, then you think, Krishna, right? I am the heat in fire. Think of Krishna. I am the life of all that lives. And I am the penances of all ascetics. Okay, then text 10. Oh, son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existence. Okay, so another place Krishna will say, I am the seed-giving father. So that means everything comes from him. The intelligence of the intelligent, somebody is intelligent, oh, that is Krishna. And the prowess of all powerful men, oh, that strength is Krishna. Okay, text 11. I am the strength of the strong. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. Okay, I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. Okay, which means having children for spiritual purposes, to raise a devotee. So that is allowed. Okay, if we follow this, then we won't have lots of problems. like abortions or whatsoever, we will not have. So we follow this guidelines given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, then everything, a lot of problems in the world will be solved. All right. So you can remember Krishna. You can see sun, and then you remember Krishna. Okay, I repeat, yeah. And then if you can see the moon in the night, you can think of Krishna. You can even see eagle and think of Garuda. Garuda is Vishnu's the transporter, right? Vahana, right? And so there are varieties of ways to remember Krishna. Okay, you can also think of one of the categories of the avatar that we covered in our class, Guna avatar, how Krishna performs his creation function through Lord Brahma. So that creation ability you can think is Krishna. The maintain is Lord Vishnu. The destruction is Lord Shiva. So remember Shiva? You can think of remembering. You can remember the destruction potency of Krishna. Okay. So we move on. Who is the master of modes of material nature? So if you can see the three ladies here, they represent three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. I don't know which one is which, but it's just them. Okay, so we are functioning under the control of these three material natures because of the tendency that we have, because of the nature that we have. So we act accordingly. If we have so much of, if your nature is very ignorant, then we're going to fall into the dictation of the ignorance mode of nature. If you are very passionate, then we're going to succumb to the effects of the passion mode of material nature. If you are in goodness, then we can function under the goodness mode of nature. So Krishna, let's see what Krishna is saying here. Apara Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Bhagavad
Krishna.
Gita 7.12. Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasaschaya mata evati tan vidhi nantvi aham te sute mai. Known that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me.
Within me. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so who is the master of modes of material nature? Krishna says, I am not under the modes of material nature. Therefore, he is the master. So when we become a master, when nothing controls us, when we are above something. So we are the master of that. Okay. So there are three modes of material nature: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Sattvic means goodness, rajasic passion, tamas is ignorance. Okay, these are also called in short three gunas. So gunas, qualities. So if you see the string here, these are the gunas. These are the rope by which the material nature control all the living entities. So all the material modes are created by Krishna's material energy. But Krishna is not controlled by the modes. You can see he's above them. Right? But he in turn controls the modes of material nature, and hence he is called Nirguna. This is another name for him. He's the master. We will not go deep into this because it is waiting for us in chapter 14 and chapter 17. Okay, so what is exactly delusion by modes? It means to identify ourselves with a particular type of body. I am this, I have this, I do this, this is my identity. So it is type of psychological and biological activity based. Okay, so the result is that when we are too entangled, too engrossed in this kind of identification, we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, so we don't understand that behind this material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead that is in charge of all this. Okay, so that's the photo. And also this also can explain address. Sometimes people say, oh, when Krishna comes as Krishna or Krishna comes as Lord Rama, he underwent so many difficulties. Well, Krishna will go through difficulties only when he wants to, right? Because he feels that there is a need to, let's say, show certain example. Okay, he will only do it for his own pleasure, not because the dictation of the three modes of material nature. Okay, because he's above karma, isn't it? He does everything on his free will. Okay, so we move on. How to get liberation from Maya. Okay, 7:14. Kanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here, Krishna is telling us these three modes of material nature is very, very difficult to overcome. If you can remember, Arjuna was saying about how difficult is it to control the mind in the Dhyana Yoga section. Oh, controlling the mind is more difficult than controlling the turbulent wind, Krishna. Then Krishna will say, I understand it's difficult, but it is possible with practice and detachment. Okay, so how we can actually cross this material nature, the troubles of this material nature. So there is a little small story about a swimmer. A swimmer can swim in Olympic size swimming pool, but if you put him in ocean, how much can he swim, right? There is a limit to him. But what happens if we get on the boat of Krishna? Then we can sail through it. Just like how during the Matsya avatar, King Satyavrata was taken nicely by, guided by Matsya avatar, right? So that's how Krishna says, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it, not by our own endeavor. Okay, so that's how a swimmer, there is certain limit only for him. Okay, so when we surrender to Krishna, he will make the big ocean look like a small puddle of water, because Krishna come and save. You see Lord Vishnu coming on Garuda and saving this drowning person. Okay, so we can think of it like that. With our own endeavor, it's very tough to overcome. All right. Okay, this is a story of a sparrow. So there was a big wave splashed on the beach, and it took along the sparrow's eggs into the ocean. So the sparrow got so mad at the ocean and told the ocean to give back the eggs, but the ocean refused. So what the sparrow did, he took a vow. The sparrow took a vow, I'm going to dry you up until I get back my eggs. So it started drinking the water in the ocean. And then Garuda came and he saw, what are you doing, dear sparrow? What are you doing? What kind of endeavor is this? Then sparrow told the story. The ocean took its eggs, and I'm going to empty the ocean. I'm going to get back my eggs. Then Garuda said, this is meaningless effort. You are punishing the sea because it didn't keep its promise to look after your eggs. But it's just meaningless for you to taking up this endeavor to try to drink and dry up the ocean. It simply can't happen. Okay, and then he said, how long is it going to take? And then so Garuda was, he said, okay, let me go and try talk to Vishnu and see what we can do about this. So Garuda went to Vishnu and said, Lord Vishnu, there's something funny going on, that the ocean did not take care of the sparrow's eggs, and then it took the eggs, and then the sparrow got angry, and the sparrow asked for the eggs. The ocean did not give. And what kind of endeavor this sparrow is taking is drinking the water of the ocean little by little by little by little. Then Vishnu explained. So that is how a person's determination should be. The sea, the ocean is our ignorance. We have ocean of ignorance. So our effort should be little It's a drop by drop. This is how Lord Vishnu explained, this is how human beings must try to empty the ignorance from the sea of life. The endeavor should be there, drop by drop. So it is what seekers must and should do. Okay, but it is not possible. So Vishnu said, okay, go to Lord Varuna and tell him that Vishnu instructed you to give the eggs back to the sparrow. So Garuda went back and told Lord Varuna, okay, it's Vishnu's instruction for you to return the eggs to sparrow. So with the help of the Lord, the sparrow got back the eggs. So that's how it is. We endeavor. It is also shows that God helps us when we do our best. Okay, so that is determination and also the mercy of the Lord. This story, this example is also conveyed through the sweet pastime of Lord Damodara. It is also the same. Okay, when Mother Yashoda tries to tie little Krishna to the grinding mortar, she will try to tie, she cannot. Okay, remember, I think I did this story with you all. So it's the same thing. It's our determination and also the Lord's mercy. So the surrender should be there. Okay. Yeah, so the lesson is we must be determined on our spiritual life to achieve our goal. So God help those who help themselves. In our life, there may be so many obstacles, but we should not give up. When Lord see our determination, He will come and help us. Okay. Right, so that's a little story. Move on to 7:15. This is revision slokas 15 and 16 about 4 impious and pious people. Okay, in relation to surrendering. 7.15, Chandra Prabha Mataji. First, we will see who will not surrender to Lord Krishna.
Good evening. Bhagavad Gita 7.15. Namam dushkritino mudaha prapadyante naradama maha mayaya jnana ashuram bhavam ashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons.
Do not surrender unto me.
That's what I can see. The others I can't see.
Oh, you can't see, huh? Okay. The last line is, do not surrender unto me. Okay, so thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So these are the 4 types of people who will not surrender to Krishna. According to Krishna, who is grossly foolish. Muda. Muda means grossly foolish. They are worried about how they can live. This one we went through already, right? This picture, this is not, although this picture is from India, but it's everywhere, right? People are crazy, their life is so crazy, like a rat race, right? They forget everything. They have to go to work, come back, go to work, come back. And basically their life has no other purpose. Work. Okay, work is worship. All right. Next is who are lowest among mankind, Naradhama. Means these are the people who do activities against the scriptures. Okay, they do not follow the scriptures but given by the life. Basically, without any moral values, crimes, violating any regulatory principles. Okay, these are the lowest among mankind. Like basically, it's an animalistic life, right? Third is whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, which means these are knowledgeable people. Okay, professors, poets, philosophers. But their knowledge is stolen by illusion where they think they are everything. Everything is happening because of them, because of their knowledge, because of their work. So they deny the existence of God. Okay? So they think Krishna is not there or God is not there, and they think what they know is supreme. Their knowledge is the supreme. That's what they think. Knowledge stolen by illusion. Okay? Many philosophers actually don't believe in God. Alright, so next is who partake of the atheistic nature of demons. Fourth is the atheists. Okay? They don't believe in God. All they do is ridicule God. That's all. That is their work. Okay? So these are the 4 kind of people who do not surrender to Lord Krishna. Okay, now we go see the other side of the coin. Who surrender to Krishna? Who will render devotional service to Krishna? 4 types of people. What kind of people who comes to Krishna, who comes to God? Okay, these are all pious people. 7:16, Indrani Mataji. You're there, Mataji? I can see you, but your mic is muted.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you hear?
Yes, Mataji can.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jinasur artarti janani cha bharata sabha. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so this is also a revision sloka. There are 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna. Those who feel distressed, those who are sad. It's normal, isn't it? Okay, so that is fine. Krishna is saying that is okay. Okay, these are the 4 kinds of people who render devotional service unto him. Desire of wealth, asking for material benefits. Okay, wealth. All right, so that's fine. The inquisitive, it may not be necessary they are looking for God, but they are asking questions. Okay, this is inquisitive people. And then there are people who are asking for knowledge about God. So these 2 different things. So I will not spend a lot of time here because we already covered this, unless you have any questions here, but which means these are all okay. Okay, there are different people who coming to Krishna or God with different purposes. That is fine. All right. Even though it is not perfect perfect devotion, selfless devotion or something like that, but it's mixed devotion. Okay, they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. I do this, you do this for me. If you do this for me, I do this for you. So somehow they are situated in the right path, but with mixed devotion. Okay. So just a short video to recap on this one. Let me know if you can't hear it, okay? Okay, yeah, that's a short recap. Okay, so we move on to 7.18. Who is the best of people surrendered to the Lord? Okay, 7.18. Jaimani Mataji, you can read.
Good evening, Mataji. I will try, but it's just that I was not prepared.
No
But
problem.
anyway, I'll just try. Okay. Excuse me if I make mistakes. Udara sarva ivaidi janiti ti vat mai mibidam ashtita sahi yuktatma mam yevanudam gadam. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls But he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. I'm sorry, I know I made mistakes a lot.
No,
I'm
Mataji,
sorry.
it's fine. It's
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
It's almost
Thank,
perfect.
thank you.
Yeah, so the best of the people surrender to the Lord. Surrender to the Lord. All the four people that comes to Krishna, the one that we saw earlier, four pious people that come to Krishna, they are all magnanimous. Okay? They are all Mahatmas because they're coming to the Lord. Whatever their intention is, motivation is, they're coming to Him. But of course, Krishna is making a point here. But one who engages in my pure devotional service is sure to attain me and the highest and most perfect goal. So this person is the highest of all the yogis. Okay, yeah. However, in Bhagavatam 9.4.68, let me see if I forgot if I have given the. Okay, no, I did not provide. Okay, so I will just read the sloka here. It seems in Canto 9, Chapter 4, Text 68, it's mentioned that, however, having intimate relationship between Krishna and pure devotees is the best. So Krishna says, the devotees are always in my heart and I am always in their heart. Devotees do not know anything beyond me and I cannot forget the devotee. Okay. So that is the speciality of personal relationship between devotees and Krishna. Okay, above the other four types of devotees. Okay, so this is a summary of the yoga ladder. So with us completing the Ashtanga yoga in our last chapter, I think we are okay to go through this ladder in summary. So first in chapter 3, we started with karma yoga. Of course, before that, Krishna initially encouraged Arjuna to perform his karma kanda activity, which is you fight. If you win, you enjoy the earthly kingdom. If you fight and die, then you enjoy the heavenly kingdom. You go to the heavenly planets. But later, Krishna said, just fight, renounce your results. That is karma yoga. Okay? And then Krishna says, better than renouncing your result, you surrender the result to me. Okay, that is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. From Sakama Karma Yoga, and then it becomes Nishkama Karma Yoga. And then Krishna gives Jnana. Chapter 4 is Jnana, right? So you renounce your result with the knowledge, surrender the result to me. Okay, that is Jnana Yoga. And then we went to Ashtanga Yoga, where Krishna describes 8 poles of yoga forms, yoga ladders, yoga steps or process. Okay, it starts with meditation on Brahman, the Jyoti, the light of that comes out from the train. And then later, as you advance, you will start meditating on the engine of the train, which is the Paramatma, as God expanded in each and every living entity as Paramatma. Initially, it was very vague, right? The light. Then later, you realize Krishna in every living entity in the heart. And then, if you engage in the transcendental loving service, providing transcendental loving service to Krishna, if you remember 6.47, Krishna concluded that among all these yogis, Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi or Dhyana Yogi, the best among them is the Bhakti Yogi because he practices that. Not like the wife who sits in the house and when the husband comes and the husband asks why the house is so messy. Oh no, I'm just thinking how much I love you. So Krishna wants you to show how much you love him by practice. So this chapter 7 is how you apply that. Okay. All right. So what is given here? Yeah. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. Bhakti yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. It is very simple, pure, and easy to perform. Why? You can just begin to do this simply by chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, it is started as knowingly or unknowingly for fun. Okay, even a child can take part in the activity. So it's that simple and it is pure. Okay, so I think this is a very good summary chart for you to understand how we can advance from Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Astanga Yoga. But if you don't want to take the stair, you can just take the elevator, just take the lift and go to Bhakti Yoga. Just do this activity. Okay, it's that simple and easy. Okay, now when Jnanis will attain perfection, person who is in knowledge, 7.90. That this verse explains how a Jnani can attain perfection. When? Okay. There's nobody. Okay, I will read. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So you can tie this to the first few sloka that Krishna explained. Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. I would like to also take you a little flashback to our chapter 6, where this verse can be connected to two verses from chapter 6. Can anybody, today I haven't asked question, right? Can anybody tell me what are the two slokas about this? After many births and deaths, anything that can ring a bell to you? There are two slokas in chapter 6 talking about this. You can see the picture of the yogi here. After many births and deaths. Anybody, Matajis? Let's see. It's very interesting two verses. Actually, this is where Krishna answers Arjuna's question. What happens to a yogi who fails? What happens to him? Anyone? Matajis? Try. Just last week's session. Could you elaborate, Mataji? We would like to hear. You can speak also with your own words. Also will be good. What have you understood? So there is someone who fails after a short-term practice and someone who fails after a very long practice. Okay. So one who fails after short term of practice, he is born in a pious family, righteous family, rich family. If you remember the picture of the Ambani, right? Yeah, so they are born in righteous people, a family of rich aristocracy. How about a person who fails after a long term of practice? Where he is born? Okay, what kind of Brahmana? Brahmana is not sufficient, Mataji. It has to be something more than that. Even a Sudra can, Vaishya can, Kshatriya can. Where can they be reborn to continue their spiritual journey? It is called the transcendentalists. Okay, let's bring you to that sloka. In 6.41 purport, Prabhupada described like this. The unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress and one is fallen after very long practice of yoga. So it is summarized here. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Okay, remember, one who fails from a short period of time, he goes to the planets of the pious living entities. And then when he comes back, he is born in a righteous family or a rich family. Okay, now what happens to a person who fails after a long practice? He is born in a family of transcendentalists or devotees who are surely great in wisdom, because this is where he is going to get the facility to continue his life. But such a birth is rare in this world. Okay. Now, what is the ultimate result of demigod worshippers? So here, Krishna will explain. 7.23. Jai Sitarani Mataji. Mataji, you're there? Okay. Can't hear you, Mataji. Could you be louder?
I can't see the.
Okay, now I can hear you. Or do you have a book with you? You can read from there also.
No, because I'm actually transcribing a few things, so that's why it's a bit difficult.
Oh.
I think I can't see your words at all.
Oh, is it? Okay, never mind, Mataji. I will read. No problem. Don't worry. Okay. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavatyalpamedasam devan devaya yanti madbhakta yanti mam api. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So there are 2 points here. Alpa Medasam. Alpa Medasam means small intelligence. Okay, so what does this small intelligence actually means? It means, if you remember the people who have come, 4 types of people who come to Krishna because they have some intention, some motivation. It's called mixed devotion. So when they go to demigods, they worship demigods. They ask for benedictions and boons. They do get whatever they asked for. Okay, but you have to remember that Krishna said, even demigods, even in the planets of demigods, birth and death appears. So which means these demigods, they are actually very powerful beings. By saying beings, it means the demigods is actually a position. Like if you remember the 6 categories of avatars we did the other day, the Lord Indra was a position. So the name of the being that is holding the position of Lord Indra now is called Purandara. Our next Lord Indra will be Bali. So like this, all these demigods, these are positions. And even if you perform very, very good lifestyle, all right, you can also be. Okay, like I remember Yaduraj Prabhu mentioned in the class in last week, he said, like Lord Brahma is also a position, all right? So how to achieve this position of Lord Brahma? By one who has spotless life for consecutively 1,000 lives. So this kind of person can achieve the position of Lord Brahma. Okay, so if you see this, I bring you to this loka. This is in chapter 8, number 16. Excuse me. Here Krishna says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. If you see here, the word here is Brahma Bhuvana Loka, means up to the planet of Brahma, Lord Brahma. To the lowest planet, all are places of misery. Why? What misery is taking place here? Repeated birth and death take place. And then Krishna says, but one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So, a boon or benediction or a gift or something to fulfill your desire is given by a temporary person, a living being. The result is also temporary. So, along with them, the result is also destroyed. So this is why Krishna is saying, if we have small intelligence, we're going to ask something temporary and that will be destroyed in due course. It will not be permanent. Okay. So the one who transcends this level, he's going to ask something permanent from Krishna, like release me from this bondage, release me from this cycle of birth and death. This is how a person in intelligence should request. But if you worship demigod in relation to Krishna, then that is okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's like Krishna, you can ask Krishna for some material benedictions, but Krishna might not give, or he will take longer to give because he is more interested in purifying us. So he will probably grant it in a long term along with purification. Okay, so it is explained this way. Just give me 1 minute. Let me find that. Yeah. In fact, Krishna does fulfill his devotees' desires, but it takes longer, for he simultaneously purifies the hearts of all who approach him. Okay? So, yeah, this is the point that Krishna is trying to make here. So, it is also explained that actually the benediction bestowed by demigods is sanctioned by Lord Krishna only. Okay? But it is temporary because they are empowered by Krishna. Oh yeah, it is also mentioned here, the fruits are limited and temporary. So we don't want that because you may get what you want, but it will cause further entanglement. All right, that is the point here Krishna is trying to make. Okay, so there's an example given here by a son. He's asking this father, small boy, small intelligent, he's asking, Papa, I want ice cream. The Papa said, you have asthma, eat homemade custard instead. It is good for you. And somebody who he's very nice to, for example, his uncle, he's asking the uncle, oh, Papa is not fulfilling my desire. Can you please buy ice cream? Okay, I will buy you 3 ice creams. Eat them. Then the boy is very pleased. But later what happens? The boy fell ill. I must have listened to my father. He knows what is good for me. So that's how Krishna is the best friend of all. He's the best well-wisher for all. Okay. So it's not like he's not giving us because he doesn't like us or something, but because there's a difference, a line between what we want and what we need. So he knows better because he's the father for us. Because he said he's the giving father after all. So Krishna gives what is good for us. Okay, 7.25. Why is it everyone cannot understand Krishna? Krishna has given information in Bhagavad Gita, and a lot of people, a lot of acharyas or great personalities have also spoken about Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. Why is it so difficult to understand? Krishna has given Bhagavad Gita in the middle of a battlefield where so many personalities are there, the armies, but why only certain people could understand him? Okay, so here Krishna Krishna explains this. 7.25, Kajai Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakasah sarvasya yogamaya samarpratah mudoyam nabhijanati lokomama jamavyaham. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal potency, and therefore they do not know what I am unborn and infallible.
Thank you, Mataji. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. So, Krishna understands from inside our heart. He knows what we want, what we do not want. So, he acts accordingly. He is never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. So, he chooses to whom he wants to reveal himself. He chooses to whom he wants to give the knowledge to. For them, I am covered by my internal potency. Okay, there is a curtain. Okay, the curtain. This is the curtain that Krishna uses to cover his actual potency. Therefore, they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Okay. And also it is mentioned that depending on the level of the surrender of the spirit soul to the Lord, that curtain will be removed that much, proportionately. And we can know about the Lord that much. All right. Okay, so we move on. 7.28. Who will engage in worship of Lord with determination? What kind of people will be engaged? in worshipping him? 728. Vaishuddha Mai Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Ye samdiyata katam papam jananam punyaka manam te tuam yua mohani mukta ajante mam trihavataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination.
Right. Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is saying, what kind of people will come to worship him? When will they come? Okay, Krishna already said that kind of birth is very, very rare. So when they come, how are they? What is their characteristics? And what is the qualification for them to come to this path? Okay, so not everyone can come for worshipping the Lord, because these are the criteria Krishna is setting here. Who has acted piously in previous life and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Okay, it's called Utsaha Nischaya Dhairya. This is in Nectar of Instruction. Determination, enthusiasm, determination, which means even when you have obstacles, you do not despair. You go on serving Krishna. So this kind of person who will be engaged in worshipping Krishna. Okay. So we move on. 30. This is our last sloka for the day. Who can know Lord Krishna at the time of death? So this sloka is opening our chapter 8. That is also another interesting chapter. So 7.30. Okay, there's nobody. Sadhi bhuta tadidaivam mam sadhi yajnam ye viduhu prayana kale picha mam te viduryukta chetasaha. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So who will engage in worship of the Lord with determination? One who is in full conscious of me, because you need to remember Krishna at the time of death. So you have to be full conscious throughout your life. Okay, so this this is actually opening our chapter 8. So we will continue in our chapter 8 how to know Krishna at the time of death, how to practice that. So yes, that's the end of our class today. Is there any question, Mataji? Okay, Okay, Mataji. Any questions at the moment? If not, can we end the class? Because I have to assist my girls with your project. They have to submit tomorrow. Is that okay, Mataji? Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much for releasing me. Okay, Mataji. I will share the quiz and PDF shortly. Thank you, Hare Krishna.